Okay, so this study involved 6 rats. The rats had access to water, but food was limited to maintain a certain eating weight. And the rats also lived on a 12-hour light and 12-hour dark cycle. The rats started in experiment 1 in an operant chamber with plexiglass in the front wall and a small space where a tray could be inserted and removed, which made a sample cup available to the rat. And they used household spices to stimulate olfactory senses. So stimulus cups were presented for pre-training, where rats were able to consume pellets for as long as it took them to finish. For a match-to-match sample, a stimulus tray was presented with a stimulus cup. The cup was baited with a pellet in 50% of the trials on a VR2 schedule. A response was defined as any instance when the rat's paws or nose made contact with the sand in a cup and displaced the sand. So after this happened, the rats had access to all 3 cups, and there were 2 other stimulus cups. So one of the comparison cups was the same scent as the sample, which introduced the match-to-match sample contingency, and the other was not the same. So when a subject made an incorrect response, the rat lost access to both comparison cups until appropriate responding occurred. And it results in experiment 1 showed that experiment 1 provided evidence that rats exposed to match-to-match sample contingencies develop a pattern of matching that generalizes even when you introduce novel stimuli and stimulus combinations. Experiment 2 was similar to experiment 1, but with modifications. There was a setting change where they used an arena. They also used plastic lids and a different presentation style that allowed for 18 different locations so that they could control for spatial. So the subjects were 9 male albino rats in the second one, and again the rats received initial training as they did in experiment 1. The new match-to-match sample training was specific to the new apparatus, and in experiment 2, response was defined as any displacement of the lid from the cup instead of the sand. So the study involved daily sessions of 24 trials, and after that baseline, that's when they started to add the 6 new sentences. So inter-observer reliability was tested for 3, but not all of the subjects. And experiments in general, experiment 1 showed that there was a rapid acquisition of match-to-sample and non-match-to-sample contingencies using the digging procedure. And then after a reversal where they switched match-to-sample and non-match-to-sample contingencies, a majority also developed position preferences and did not show reversal. But in experiment 2, with a large arena apparatus where the stimulus could be placed in any of 19 positions, there was much more difficulty in acquisition through the use of DO contingencies. Did help with this, but there was much more of a difficulty in the second one. So there was evidence of transfer to novel stimuli in both experiments, though much, much, much stronger in the first.